It's time for another TBR review. Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and today I'm going to be doing a TBR and review video for 2020. If you haven't seen one of these on my channel before, what I typically do is for each year, I have gone through and looked at how many books and which books I have left on my TBR from what I purchased in previous years. So this year I started with 2016 and I moved up through, and now we are on 2020. I need to get the rest of these done through 2022 before the end of the year, because we start over each year and go through and kind of keep up. This is a way for me to kind of stay accountable and make sure I'm still interested in books. It really helps me clear off books that I am no longer interested in, and kind of just makes me take a hard look at those. What I've been doing this year is I've been reading the first chapter of the books that I have left, especially from some of these early years, just to take a look and see if I'm still interested, if I even know what the premise is, if I like the writing style or any of those things. So today I think we're going to do this in sort of a vlog style, because I have been doing it that I just do all the reading beforehand and then tell you guys what the results are. So I am gonna do a quick like vlog style of this and kind of update you on every few books as I go. So before we get started, I'm going to give you the stats. I had 19 books remaining on my TBR from my video last year that I had, kept from last year. Since then, I have DNF'd 2, I have unhauled 4, and I have read 1. So I have 12 remaining. So we're going to go through those. So I started out with Unnatural Magic by C.M. Waggoner. This is a fantasy book that I really was interested in. I have 2 books by Waggoner on my TBR, but I haven't read either one, despite having them for quite a number of years now. 3, I guess. And I read the first chapter of this, and this reminded me a lot of both Tamora Pierce's blurb on the front, so that's part of the reason I have this, and that it reminded me of her stories, as well as Gail Carriger. It's kind of like a blend of those 2 books it reminded me of. So I am going to keep this. I did really like the writing style of the first chapter, and I am excited to see where this goes. I don't know when I'll get to this, but I definitely want to. And then the second book I have on this list is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, which I'm actually currently reading right now. I actually just started this audiobook today. I had gotten it from the library, so I'm currently reading this and enjoying it so far. I have started this book a few times, however, and never gotten more than like 50 pages in, so we'll see if this time I succeed. I'm really considering DNFing this series if it doesn't work this time, because I keep trying it, but if I'm honest, I keep trying it when I'm in a slump. So we'll see. I still really love the first book, so not sure where we're going to go from there. Let's move on to the next 2. So I'm through 2 more. Think is Upon a Burning Throne, The Burnt Empire Saga Book 1 by Ashok A.K. Banker. And this, for me, I think I'm going to keep. I think I read about a third of this book on audio, and then my audiobook expired. I didn't go back to it immediately, so it's been a little while since I've read this. So I think I'm going to try to get this on audiobook again at some point and read it, because I did enjoy what I was reading. I thought it was really interesting, and the world building was really cool, but I'm kind of on the fence with this one. Not sure if it's something I do 100% want to go back to, but might be something I give like a good solid try to again. The other one is Mindhunter, which is a nonfiction about the FBI's Elite Serial Crime Unit by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker. And this one I think is going to be a DNF and a give up for me. I tried to read both there's like a 20 years later portion here, as well as like the first chapter, and for me personally this was a really dry read, and I have other sources to listen to about true crime, and for me this just wasn't something that really grabbed my interest. It was a little bit dated in some of the way that just not even dated in the way the nonfiction was going or anything. in a way that was like bad, but I just think nonfiction is written in a more compelling way recently, or I have read ones that are more compelling, and this was just really dry for me. So I decided this one's probably not going to be for me. Also, somehow I bought both The Red Scrolls of Magic and The Lost Book of the White in 1 year. So I tried the first chapter of this, and Cassandra Clare's books are really readable, and I'm familiar enough with Alec and Magnus that I do want to read these, and this was light, fluffy, and fun so far, so I'm interested to try this. Honestly, I have to look up exactly when this is set. I believe it's set after the first Mortal Instruments series and before the Dark Artifices, so that's about where my knowledge ends with this series. So I'll probably read this and enjoy it, but I have recently decided I don't want to continue on with Cassandra Clare's series simply because I was getting too far behind and the books were a lot to take on. But these are pretty trim, so this seems like a fun series that'll be like an in-between for me. Okay, so I read the first chapter of The Devouring Grey by Christine Lim Herman. I'm going to put this aside and try to read it during October here. I think I put this on my October TBR. Don't remember anymore. That TBR is still in my brain. There's still a list over there, but I have been so slumpy that it's been difficult to read the things I said I want to read. But after reading this and the like tarot card like involvement and the like spooky stuff going on, and also this author did a really good job of describing grief for like a chapter, that I was just like, I want to read this. And then I also will be keeping the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin because I read the first chapter, or like the prologue of this, and it was so beautifully written. Like, I love the writing style. I can't wait to get back to this. So this is going to be something that's definitely higher up on my priority TBR. The problem with reading the first chapter of all these books is I often am like, I'm going to prioritize this, and then I do the next month and the next month, and then having a TBR is a vicious cycle. All right, the final 3 are here. So Cemetery Boys was on my October TBR, which I do remember, and this is interesting. I do like the first chapter. I'm going to put this aside to read with The Devouring Grey. Then I have Fury Born, which is by Claire Legrand, a high fantasy, which I have had recommended lots of times, and definitely interesting. Loved the first chapter of this. This is something that I'm like, do I want to keep reading this today? But I've already started plenty of books today. Honestly, I started so many audiobooks today, and now these 2 already being on my radar, I need to stop. And then The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. I'm not 100% sold on this first like prologue chapter. It was a little all over the place, but I like Garth Nix enough that I'm going to keep it and try it more later, and just wonder if it is like being the last one of this try the chapter that I just am like sort of out. Like, I'm not quite 100% on the brain space because I've started so many things that I want to keep reading. I think this just might be the victim of not being the most compelling first chapter, so I'm like not sure about it, so it's gonna stay. I missed one. I tried this. I will save it. I do like the chapter. It is interesting, and I do enjoy the writing style. So if you were wondering why there were only 11, like me, you were wondering why there was only an odd number of books. It's because this one was on the floor beside me and I forgot to pick it up. So what I've decided is we're gonna keep 11 of the 12 remaining. I'm DNFing, getting rid of Mindhunter, and that's a pretty good decision for me. Like I said, I normally do all the reading beforehand, so I would have just like showed you the ones I had remaining and already like had included Mindhunter in those DNFs. The rest of them were ones that I read over the course of the year. I read Gideon the Ninth. I DNF'd Kingdom of the Wicked and My Plain Jane. And then my 4 unhauls were His Majesty Dragon, Death to the Queen, Ghost of the Shadow Market, and Labyrinth of Songs and Scions and Sorcery. So that's my update for the 2020 TBR remainders, and I will talk about them again next year. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about what I talked about today, please let me know down below. And if you want to see me again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!